This month, for our Charity Learning Consortium piece for Learning Now TV, we are talking to Kerry Gabriel from the RSPCA. Now, anyone who knows me will know that dogs are at the heart of my life. So this is a really exciting interview, but not dogs today. We're going to be talking about leadership. Kerry, who are you and what do you do at the RSPCA? Welcome to Learning Now TV.
Hi, thanks, Michelle. Yeah, I'm Kerry Gabriel. I'm an L&D Manager at the RSPCA. So I've worked for the RSPCA for about 11 years now, had a few roles in the organisation, and now I'm working in learning development. So as L&D Manager, I am focused on L&D for the entire organisation, and my specialism at the moment is focusing on leadership development, which is what we're going to talk about today.
And is that leadership for your staff or is that leadership for your volunteers as well?
Currently it's for staff, yeah. So we've got lots of leadership activities going on at the moment, and it's with a focus on our employees right now.
So the perfect person to talk to us, because Learning Now TV tends to be watched by people in corporate spaces, and we are doing these interviews with charities to just really showcase your great stories, but also to enable us to kind of cross-pollinate fresh ideas into that more corporate space. So your leadership program, of course, loads of people, everyone does leadership programs. You know, why is it so special? Tell me about your leadership program.
Well, it's very new. So we've developed it in the last year, although the thought processes and the thinking space has been happening for a couple of years now. Actually, in 2019, when we started to think about what we wanted to do differently. But it's a completely new offer, a new blended program that's different to whatever we've offered in the past at the RSPCA. So it's a really kind of fresh take on things, and it's creating quite a bit of buzz for us at the society.
Okay, so it was prompted pre-pandemic. What was the sort of catalyst? Why did you think we need to do something different?
Yeah, so I mean, in 2019, we were reviewing our entire L&D offer. Really, we used to run an RSPCA manager program, which I'll tell you a little bit about in a moment. But we in addition to that program, we used to run some sort of one-day workshops. So we had a curriculum as well. But we hadn't really measured the impact or the success of those things. And we knew that we needed to take stock and just kind of take a breather and figure out what we wanted to do and what the new plan was and what the new L&D offer was. So this was something we were talking about, right at the beginning of 2019, and thinking, pausing some of our activities so that we could take that time to review what we had and what we were going to do going forward. So we knew we wanted to modernise the L&D offer, and particularly with a focus on leadership development. Our new CEO at the time, who had joined us the previous year, really had a focus and a priority for leadership development in the organisation, as did the other directors. So that was great because we had that, that buy-in, and we knew we had that backing to create something that was fresh and modern for the society. So yes, this sort of pre-pandemic decision that we knew we needed to make some changes, and we knew we were going to be focusing on leadership development for a good couple of years from that point onwards. And here we are now, 2 years later, delivering it.
This is almost textbook. From my book, I talked about all of the things you need to get in place, and stakeholder engagement being one of them, real clear strategy being another of them. And you've kind of gone through that process. I'm loving the fact that you were thinking about impact before you even started. So you've gone through the process now and you've made the change. Are you clear on what it is that you're offering and what's the impact that it has had?
Yeah, I mean, we are clear. We were clear before we even started designing on what people needed. I mean, that was really important. We used to deliver a programme which was a 5-day residential programme. So people would come down to a venue close to our offices in Horsham, and it was a great programme, really great 5-day course, and people really enjoyed it. The content was great. It always had brilliant feedback. So we knew we needed to do something differently. We knew we needed to make the programme more accessible for managers, because our managers were all over the country, travelling all the way down south for a 5-day residential course was a big ask. We included travel time as well, particularly when people have very busy roles. They were working flexible working patterns. It wasn't particularly inclusive for those people, and some of them had, of course, dependents to consider. So we knew it needed to be something different. We also wanted to create a learning culture where people appreciate that learning doesn't just happen in the classroom, and that's what we had before. It was just come away, there you had your time in the classroom, and then off you went again. And we knew we needed to modernise our L&D approach and do something a bit different. So
It's excellent. Forgive me interrupting, but it's so exciting to hear that actually you've had the people at the heart of everything that you were designing there. Would that be fair?
Yeah, absolutely. And we made sure that we went out and did that learning needs analysis. We had a pretty good idea of what we knew the new programme needs to include, because we knew that the feedback from the old programme in terms of the content was spot on. We knew that there's those core topics that people needed, but we wanted to make sure that they were still relevant and still what people needed. So we went out, we did another learning needs analysis. We surveyed people, we surveyed their line managers, we had conversations with as many people as we could, and particularly the senior stakeholders as well, to just kind of find out what the general feeling was and what those needs were. And the same topics would be suggested time and time again. So we were pretty clear that we knew what the content needed to be, but we also knew that we needed to put things in context for our managers at the RSPCA. So we wanted to weave through our values, we wanted to weave through our leadership capabilities, and we'd just launched, we were in the process of designing a new leadership capability framework. So we knew that framework and those leadership capabilities would be part of the new programme, so that people understood what's expected of them as a manager in the RSPCA. So that, just bringing that relevance and that context into their roles was really important as well. So we weren't just covering, theory. We wanted to give people an opportunity to understand and appreciate why it was important for them, and to give them an opportunity to really share their own experiences with one another as well. So it wasn't just going to be a programme where facilitators did their chalk and talk. It was never going to be like that. We always wanted it to be a really engaging, interactive programme where people were learning outside of that virtual classroom as well.
You've got people at the heart of it. You've got some really strong evidence as to why you need to shift. You're bringing in your values. You already said that this is a really great program, 5 days. Pretty brave, actually, to just flip that over into something new. So I'm sure it's been successful. Talk to me about impact. Talk to me about the success.
Yeah, we ran a pilot earlier on this year and finished that just before summer, which had really great feedback from it. We've made some improvements, and then we've rolled it out from September, actually. So it's very new, this rollout, and we've managed to sort of start around about, I suppose, something like 80 or 90 managers that have already started the programme since September, which is really great. And it's quite early in terms of measuring the long-term impact, of course, but in terms of short-term measures, we're getting incredible feedback from participants in the programme. They're saying they're loving the content, they're loving the virtual delivery, which of course is a very new way of us doing it. They're loving the blended approach. And all of it, really, and the opportunity to connect with one another, even in a virtual way, is working really well, because we've built in so much interactivity and engagement, and we're really putting them at the heart of it. So yeah, it's great to have that kind of an initial measure of success, but we know there's more to it than just measuring those initial reactions. We know that there's more to measure. So what we have done to set ourselves up for that evaluation piece is ask our participants to evaluate themselves before they start the programme. And we're also asking their line managers to evaluate them before the programme. We're asking them to seek some feedback from their direct report, from a colleague, from their line manager, so that they are getting a sense of how they are at the start of that programme. And then we'll ask them to repeat all of those activities, a few months after they've completed it. And hopefully we'll see change, and we'll see that kind of, that learning, embedding, that behaviour change, and that impact in their role and in their performance as well. So we've started that journey, and that evaluation, of course, will continue once we've got managers that have completed the programme, or more of them that have completed the programme. So yeah, lots to do, and I'm really keen as well to see what our employee survey says when we do one again, because I think there'll be some real learnings from that in terms of how people are viewing their managers and the leadership culture in the organisation. I'm hoping we'll have some data on that next year, or the next time we do an employee survey.
Kerry, it's been an absolute breath of fresh air talking to you today and hearing about your story, because it's almost classic textbook the new way. This is how we need to do it. Gather your evidence, be brave, make a decision which is really focused on people, align it to your business and the values, and then really measure impact well. And the fact that you're saying to me today, we think it's been fine from what we know already, but it's the future that we need to look at. Come back in a year and let's hear how it's gone on. It's been absolutely refreshing. So there's no excuse for any of us, is there? You've got the RSPCA looking after all those lovely animals, but also doing really great work to look after their leaders as well. Thank you for this time on Learning Now TV, and Kerry, will speak to you again another time when we find out. Wow, I'm sure it's going to be a success.
Yeah, I'd love to speak again, let you know how it's going. Thanks, Michelle.